Welcome to Papa Junk Shop. Well, I've been walking around this generator for about a year now in the middle of the shop. Just finally decided to do something with it. It's an Onan Emerald Plus from a motorhome. Of course, I got it at an auction. And I think I paid less than 20 bucks for it. It's been a while, so I didn't pay much for it or I wouldn't have bought it. And let's see, here's the tag. And it sat outside for a long time out of the motorhome. Probably the motorhome was wrecked or shot. And the engine turned over fine, but it was rusty and nasty looking. There was a mouse nest in here, but it was a really nice mouse nest. I don't know if they ever moved in. They built a really nice nest. It's nice and fluffy. Just reached in there and pulled it out, threw it away. This doesn't look like they ever used it. So it didn't make any nastiness and didn't even smell like mouse. So I was glad of that, but had quite a battle even getting the shrouding off it. First two bolts I took off, this one and this one, even trying to be really careful. I broke them off, of course. I got them drilled out now. But each one of these bolts I had to put penetrating oil on, and I had to heat the head of them up with a torch. I got one of them really little like pencil torch things, and by heating them up and letting them cool a couple of times, I real careful, a lot of working back and forth. I finally got them all out. Was able to get the muffler off, and that seems good. Got the fuel pump working, but it leaks right around where the wires hook in. So I got a fuel pump coming, and I did a little research and discovered that these, you want to make sure the slip rings are nice and shiny and the brushes are free. Otherwise, if you fire it up, the voltage regulator goes bad trying to excite it, I guess. So I made sure the slip rings were clean and the brushes were free. They're in this hole here. There's a little plastic cover that goes on there. And I got the carburetor filled up, just gravity, and got it rolling over, but it didn't seem to roll over real good, so I pulled the starter off. Didn't really see anything wrong there, but it looked kind of dry, so I lubed it up, put it back on. Might have been just the connections were not good either, so got that so it cranks over good. Checked on my head spark alright, so cranked her a little more and she finally fired up. And the original oil filter, which was here, which is right here, which is Onan. It might be the original, who knows. It was rusted so bad that it started leaking oil, or spot right about here. So I knew I had oil pressure. That was when I was just cranking it over. So I dug around and I had an oil filter to fit it. And I finally got her to fire off. And I had a light bulb hooked on the wires, and it actually lit. But it won't stay running. It only stays running while you hold the start button in. So I did some more research. And this control board seems to be an issue for that, so I took that off. I got that over on the bench, so I'll show you that. Okay, here's the control board, and I downloaded a manual for it and chased out what I thought might be going on. And there's a relay right here. I think it's called K2, and I think what that does is when the engine starts, it builds up voltage, and that voltage in turn turns this relay, switches it, and it puts the juice to the ignition and unbypasses the low oil switch, I think. So I put juice on all of these coils separate on these relays, and they all checked out except for the one that was here. And the coil was good, but it didn't do the switching. So I pulled it off just to confirm it, and I had quite a time pulling it off because it's double-sided circuit board, and then they put this coating on there and it glues it right down. It was a mess getting it off of there without wrecking something. So I looked on eBay and I could get 2 replacement ones from someplace in Oklahoma for about $6. So that's where I'm at now. I'm going to get that new relay put in there, install this, and see if she'll stay running when you let off on the switch. Okay, got the new relay in place. Got the battery hooked up, temporary gas. Looks like I got gas there alright. Alright, keep your fingers crossed. There we go. Stuff gonna go flying on the floor. Well, that's encouraging. Yeah. Oh, you're not happy? Okay, I had this issue before too. I think the start relay might not be right because I don't have any 12 volts going to this board sometimes, so I just temporarily run one over the battery. Uh-oh, didn't stay running. Well, that's discouraging. Okay, well, it stays running now. Making progress. Yeah, threw the muffler on it. Got a light bulb out here where you can see it. Still haven't figured out what's going on with that yet. I gotta dig around and see if I got one. Don't want to let it run long without the shrouding on it. But the generator part seems to work. I just get that part resolved. And a little TLC, and I think I might have a functioning generator. I'm really amazed that I didn't have to do anything with the carburetor. And, see, it's blowing a little smoke and stuff. That's because I put some oil in the cylinders. Any time something's sitting like that for a long time, I like to do that. So until that gets that burn out of there, it's probably going to smoke a little bit. I think we're spending a little more time on. So probably that's as far as I'm going to go with this little quick video. So some of you guys got one of these that won't stay running when you let off on the switch. It might be just that little relay. Of course, you can buy this board for, I don't know, a couple $100 probably. But 2 relays for $6 and a little bit of postage and some time. Worth the effort, I guess. At least it is for me. So if you enjoyed this one, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe.